folks, you are on the Seek on the Speed 252 show. Scroll over to the right and click that subscribe button.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Seek on the Speed 252. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. Yes, this video is about the 4,000 miles later of me owning my C8 2020 Corvette. Now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, I need you to push that subscribe button right now, because I would love your support on the channel. I would love your feedback in the comments, and I really greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to meet you all someday. Now, a lot of you have been asking me a lot of questions about my car since owning this 2020 C8, and I can tell you right now, 4,000 miles later, it feels great. But there are a few negative things I have to say about owning this car in 2020, and I will get into that as we speak. So right now, like I said before, I have exactly 4,100 and roughly 69,000 miles on my car. Ever since owning this car, it has brought a smile to my face every single day. One thing I can appreciate the most about this car is that GM did a phenomenal job of building it. There's nothing really bad I can say about this car. It sounds great, it feels great, it looks great, and like I said before, it puts a smile on my face every single day. Let's go ahead down to the exhaust. It sounds freaking amazing. I mean, a lot of people have been complaining about putting, aftermarket exhaust on it, and somebody asked me, will I put an aftermarket exhaust on my C8 Corvette? Probably, absolutely. I had a company ask me to bring my car out to their shop. They would build me a custom exhaust and things like that. But right now, I am kind of sort of helping General Motors with a couple of quality control whole things when they just ask me a question, how's the car doing? How are you enjoying it? Are there any concerns or issues that we should know about? And so I'm actually holding on my car a little bit longer before I decide to do any aftermarket parts like that. So that way I can get GM questions answered if they need anything answered. Another thing that I have done to my car since owning it, of March of this year, was once again to put 4,000 miles on it, but at the same time I also tinted my windows. As you guys know, tinting your windows in my personal opinion is something very important that everyone should do to their car, no matter what kind of car you have. My tint is 20%. My friend Joe did a great job of tinting my car at the tint shop. I can tell you right now, it's been one of the best things I've done since owning this car, because now I can get a chance to actually feel comfortable driving this car, being able to wave outside the window as I'm driving my car throughout the day. Another thing that I did to my car that a lot of you guys will like, that you guys ask me in the comment section below, is my yellow seatbelts. Why did I decide to go with yellow seatbelts instead of the normal black? Well, I have never owned a car in my entire life that had colorful seatbelts. Now, I think the yellow goes well with the Kalahari or natural interior you want to call it, along with the red. Now, a lot of you guys are going to ask me, man, your car looks like a Ferrari when you drive it in person. It looks like a Ferrari in general. Trust me, I by no means tried to match or compete with the Ferrari at all regarding the color scheme. This was just the color I chose. This is how the car came out, and I've been happy with it. Another thing I've done with my car 4,000 miles later, as you know, I have aftermarket wheels. I bought my car with the standard silver wheels that came with it normally. I decided to go with the MIR wheels because those guys are great. They are my new sponsors. And I wanted to see what this car would look like with black wheels on it. Now, I do plan to probably put another set of wheels on it from MIR because we've been talking about probably swapping these out with a different set. I do appreciate everything that MIR has done with these wheels. And I can tell you right now, those guys, go check out their websites. They will hook you up. Their wheels on their website, guys, are freaking phenomenal. I can look at their wheels on their website for at least an hour or two. Just going over the wheels, looking at the color schemes, looking at their design patterns, looking at their hard work, and I really appreciate those guys at MR. So MR, thumbs up to you guys. But I decided to go with the normal size tires for my C8 Corvette. Now, a lot of guys have been questioning whether or not they want to lower their car or get bigger wheels to fill in the whip gap. For me, I decided to stick with the normal size wheels, which is 19s in the front, 20s in the back. I didn't want to give up too much of my comfortable ride. When I had my factory wheels on this car, it drove comfortable as crap, and even with these aftermarket wheels, they drive comfortable as crap as well. I really appreciate the aftermarket wheels because they have gotten a lot better with making the car drive just like it does out of the factory. I have no complaints whatsoever about these MRR wheels. I think it makes the car look sick. I think it makes my calipers pop out, which is another big plus for me. I can show you a picture right now with me driving down the road. The first thing you see is my yellow calipers, which is why I decided to go with yellow calipers in the first place. Another thing that I've enjoyed about having on my car 4,000 miles later is my big wing. A lot of you guys are going to ask me, why did you decide to go with the big wing instead of Z51 wing? Well, I have never seen this wing in person until I actually got it on my car. I was questioning in the beginning, but once I got it on my car, I realized this big wing actually fills in the rear end a lot more than you guys think it does. I have no complaints whatsoever other than maybe one. The one thing that I feel like GM could have done better, personally, if it was me and I was designing this car and they would have asked me personally, what would you do with adding a big wing to the car? I would have either made it just these two spokes and took these two off, or I would have left that one here, and one there. I do think having 4 spokes on this hind wing is a little bit too much, but at the end of the day, I do appreciate what this big wing do to the value and the look of this car. If you take a look at the ZR1 wing on the 2019 C7 Corvette, you will notice that it has 2 spokes, and I think it looks freaking great, and I think it fits the car extremely well. Another thing that I like about my C8 Corvette is being able to have the opportunity to look at my motor down from the rear hatch. Now, I have never owned a car that was a mid-engine before. This is my first mid-engine sports car. But I can tell you right now, Chevrolet has definitely nailed it with this car. If you take a look right now, I love being able to pop up the hatch when I'm at events and shows and friends and families and gatherings, whatever the case may be, and they ask me to pop the hatch. They're excited to see that I have trunk space, which where my roof goes back here. And they also like to see what this mid-engine Corvette looks like. If there's something I can change about the way my mid-engine looks right now, it will probably be getting a different engine cover. I personally will probably change this out at some point if I can get some aftermarket companies that will probably, start making them or whatever the case may be. But I would like to change my engine cover because I feel like my bay looks a little boring. Now, I will say, having the 2 lights right here at the top, having the carbon fiber pieces, which is the engine appearance packet, makes this car look a little bit better. But once I can change the engine cover, I think my engine area will look that much better. Now, I heard a lot of people talk about, does it get really hot back here? It does get hot back here. In a good way, though. Obviously, every engine needs to release heat. And GM has built this car to the way it releases heat through these vents, as you can see right here, and also through this window gap right there. Do you feel this heat while you're inside the car? Absolutely not. I do not feel a single bit of the heat from the motor while I'm driving this car. Now, that's just my personal preference. I don't know if any other YouTuber or any other person that owns a C8 Corvette feels the heat in the inside, but I do not, which is something I do appreciate and glad that General Motors decided to make the car that way. One thing that I do know about the C8 Corvette is that it's definitely a track car. Now, 4,000 miles later with owning my C8, obviously my car is officially broken in. 500 miles later, my car is done as far as being broken in for the factory. Now, also, if you want to take your car to the track, you do want to reach 1,500 miles. That will be your next and last break-in period for this car. It's important that you understand that you do need to reach 1,500 miles before you take your car to the track. But please know, once you reach 1,500 miles, you can probably do a light track day, but if you decide to do a heavy track day, when you're going out with Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, things like that, you need to take your car to get your car track prepped. Now, it's one of those things where I'm not playing. You would need to go to your manual, take out your manual, read your manual, and understand there's other things you need to do to take your car to the track. I will say this is a big topic right now that a lot of people have been talking about, that you need to add 2 quarts of transmission fluid to the dual clutch to get it ready for the track. Right now, I am 2 quarts too low to be able to take my car to the track and track it. And it's one of those things where General Motors decided that they realized that a lot of their customers probably won't even take their cars to the track in the first place. So that's why they probably decided to add the 2 extra quotes in there. I was told, I don't know exactly how true this is, I've been told this and heard this, that it costs about $100 to add those extra 2 quarts of fluid to your car. I don't know how true it is, do not quote me on that. But with that being said, if you plan to take your car to the track, you do need to get those 2 extra quarts added to your transmission fluid. Now, you're gonna ask me probably in this video, I know there's gonna be a comment down below, where do you add that extra transmission fluid? I honestly don't know. I have no freaking clue where you add those extra quotes to. I would love for any of you to know, leave your comments down below. I have no idea where you would add the extra transmission fluid at. I do know where some of the things are at. For instance, this is where you add the coolant, as well as far as pulling the oil in there and checking the oil itself. Now this car takes Mobile 1. You can put whatever oil you prefer in there, but I'm gonna stick with Mobile 1. I have not gotten no oil change yet. This car is not like the C7 where you need to get an oil change every 5,000 miles. The new C8 Corvettes is now 7,500 miles. That's a great thing because now I get to save a little bit more money. I do not know how much the oil change costs, but I will tell you, if you buy a C8, based off what I know, you get your first oil change and your first trans filter change for free at 7,500 miles. Let me say this again. You get your first oil change and your first trans filter change with your first 7,500 miles. After that, every other oil change comes out of your pocket. Now, once again, we buy Corvettes because they're affordable sports cars, but it's also affordable to maintain. You know, I got a friend who drives an Acura NSX. He says his oil change is $350. I have another friend who has a Lamborghini. He says his oil change is $850. While the oil change for this is probably around $150. $150 seems pretty expensive for an oil change if you're driving something like a Ford Fusion or something like that, or maybe a Mustang or possibly a Camaro. But when you're driving things like this, the oil changes do go up a little bit more. At the end of the day, that's the price that comes with owning a sports car. Another thing that I appreciate about my car 4,000 miles later is that I had no check engine light, no warning lights, or none of that stuff whatsoever. So that tells me that Chevrolet has built a phenomenal car. Another reason why I'm going to say that Chevrolet has built a phenomenal car, because I also own a C7. With owning my C7, I had my check engine light come on one time. And it only came on because my catalytic converter went bad. As soon as I took it to the dealership, they figured out what it was. They changed the catalytic converter just like that. Check engine light was gone, has not came back on since, and never had another warning light in the car whatsoever. Knock on wood. So that being said, I'm going to sit here and say, from my personal experience of owning Chevrolet products, that I believe they have built some great, affordable, attainable sports cars. Now, how much do I love my C8 Corvette over my C7 Corvette? Well, that's going to be a later video at some point. But I will tell you right now that the C8 Corvette is all the car that you need, especially the Stingray model. Once the Z06 comes out, I'm sure that car will have at least 650 horsepower, hopefully naturally aspirated 5.5 liter V8 is what is rumored to be. Now, I do know when you look at this car driving down the road, as I have seen my car driving down the road because I let a couple of my friends drive it, the stance and the wide body of this car look freaking great. If you know that Chevrolet builds Z06 version, they usually make the body a little bit wider, probably a little bit longer. Now, I know a lot of you guys are hoping that they don't make the Z06 body a little longer, but in general, I think whatever Chevrolet got up their sleeve for the Z06 will be great. It's one of those things where the 650 horsepower, no, will you use on an everyday basis on a highway? Absolutely not. But it definitely feels good to be able to get on it every once in a while. This car is smoking everything out on the highway except for a Tesla from the dig. I have seen this car race against a GT500. I've seen this car race against a Viper. I've seen this car race against a Mustang, and another Mustang, actually, I believe a GT350, and it smoked it from the dig. Even a Hellcat, it smoked it from the dig. And just imagine what Chevrolet is going to do with this car when it's officially all-wheel drive. This car isn't all-wheel drive, but the reason why it's smoking a lot of cars online because it's a mid-engine platform. With that being said, they put the weight to ratio balance on this car just like they should, which give this car the upper hand when racing from a dig. I know a lot of you guys notice I've been racing this car in Mexico safely, and a lot of you guys notice that most of the races I've been doing have been from a road. Once I get officially more entwined with racing and having a great time with this car, I will start doing more dig races. As you all know, this car will beat pretty much anything off the line. I have actually seen this car race a Lamborghini Evo from a dig and destroyed it. I have seen it race a Lamborghini from a road and destroyed it. Now, at some point, what amount of horsepower that is in the Lamborghini, it comes back and catches the C8 at some point. But by that time, it depends on how far you're racing is when you can say the race is over. I really appreciate what GM has done with the C8 Corvette and all it has to offer. And every bit of this miles that I put on this car has been enjoyable to me. Whether I raced it in Mexico safely, whether I drove my car home in the garage, whether I let a couple of my buddies drive it, kind of get the experience for it. And I can tell you one thing, after driving this car compared to driving a Nissan GTR all day long, I would definitely pick the C8 Corvette. Now, with that being said, the GTR is all-wheel drive, has a little bit more horsepower, but the transmission just is not as good as this dual clutch. The GM built their own dual clutch for the C8 Corvette. Now, I'll admit, GM, from my mouth to you guys, you did a great job of building the freaking dual clutch. That thing is so instant that is insane. I love using my paddle shifters in my C7 and my C8 Corvette. Now, I will admit, in my C8 Corvette, it's instant, and my C7 Corvette, it is not. It has a little bit of delay, but once again, the C7 Corvette is a great car for what it is. And if you're in the market for one of those bad boys, you go out there and get it, because you will have a great time driving the C7 Corvette before you decide to step into the mid engine platform. Now, one of those things where the C8 Corvette offers a lot of car for the money. I mean, this car right now is one of the best cars you can buy on the market. I don't care what no one says. Every time I'm driving down the road in my C8 Corvette, the presence, the look, the waves, the thumbs up, everything that I get regarding this car is freaking amazing. It brings a smile to my face every single day. And there's days when I go into my garage and still find it hard to believe that I actually own a C8 Corvette right beside a C7 Corvette. I've been reviewing Corvettes for a long time now. I was talking about this car right before it started coming out. I mean, like, I wouldn't say right before, but up until the day it came out, I was head over heels about this car. There was days when I was getting a little bit impatient and was like, is this car coming or what? But at the end of the day, I'm glad this car is here. I'm glad GM decided to release this car to the world and brought Zora dreams to truth. Because I can tell you right now, Zora, if you was here today, you would be super proud of what GM decided to do with this C8 Corvette. The engineers of this car is phenomenal. I enjoy talking to these guys. These guys have great knowledge about the mid-engine platform, and they have stepped it up. I'm telling you right now, big time. So I can tell you right now, for all you future McLaren, Lamborghinis, and Ferrari owners, you guys are gonna be out of luck. Once GM decided to make that Z06 version, you will not be able to touch this car at all. I can tell you that right now, because there's barely any cars right now that can touch the C8 Corvette off the line with the amount of horsepower it currently has. So once you reach that 650 horsepower, and then you get the all-wheel drive, the Zora, the ZR1, man, it's gonna be game over. It's what I call game over. This car is freaking amazing. So once again, you guys, this is what it feels like owning a C8 Corvette 4,000 miles later. Now, I know some of you probably ask me, where is the bad stuff there? You can't love everything about the car. Well, I will admit, there is a couple of bad things that I do hate about owning this car right now, and that it is in 2020 and it's quarantine time. Now, as you all know, the virus is something serious that a lot of people have been taking serious. And it haven't been one of those things where I've been able to enjoy this car as much, because I haven't been able to enjoy it with some of my friends. Now, obviously, I have driven my car with some of my friends, keeping this social distancing for the most part, wearing my mask, keeping my gloves and all that stuff. But there's nothing like going to a good car show or a good event, meeting you guys, hanging out with you guys, having good discussions, talking about the C7 compared to the C8 and things like that. So having that being said, I have enjoyed the car, but it's been nice to be able to see it in my garage, but it has not been as great to be able to not enjoy it with friends and family members and things like that. I am hoping that this virus thing, I wouldn't say end, because I don't think it's going to end, but get to the point to where we're actually able to see each other again and actually enjoy each other's company and rides and talking about the car. One event that I am looking forward to, that I'm hoping continues to go on, is Corvette and Carlisle. That is something that happens in August, towards the end of August, and I'm hoping to be able to still attend that event if it still goes on. Now, August is a good bit of ways away. Who knows what's going to happen with the virus until then. But until then, I am going to keep putting more miles in this car, keep giving you updates, and if there's any issues, any concerns, any problems with the car, I'm going to let you guys know. But at the end of the day, I have nothing bad to say about the C8 Corvette. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my video. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, definitely please do. Follow me on all my social media website platforms. I would love to have you a part of my community and grow with us, and just let's go to 20,000 followers. I really greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and my heart goes out to any one of you guys that have been affected by the coronavirus, anything that's been going on in the world right now. I hope my videos are keeping you guys uplifted, inspired to continue to do the things you do. Hopefully you have, a dream car that you have in mind. Definitely go out there and get that bad boy. Hopefully one day I can see you on the road and give you that Corvette wave no matter what kind of car you drive, because I love to just wave at any and everybody who's having a great time and got a great smile on their face. So once again, guys, thank you for watching my video. We are now done with the 4,000 mile later video with the 2020 C8 Corvette. And I just want you guys to know that I will keep giving you updates as long as I keep putting miles on this bad boy. Have a great day, and I was catching an episode of Seek on the Speed 252.